let's talk about their current quarterback, Lamar Jackson, because that is also a hot topic right now in the NFL. Jake, I don't know what I think about this situation. I'm going to let you preface what's going on because you probably could explain it better than I am. But it's essentially like Lamar Jackson wants a really, really huge contract and has he formally requested a trade or is that hearsay?
You
I
know,
don't know if it's formal yet, but
yeah,
like
I don't
he's
I
being
don't
shopped.
know. I mean, I think in a perfect world, Lamar Jackson gets his fully guaranteed contract and he stays in Baltimore. I think he wants to stay in Baltimore, but I think he knows. And you know, let's take a step back and remember something here. The deleted tweet, you know, by Rashad Bateman, his teammate. I don't know if you saw that, but
I
he
did.
was ripping Eric DeCosta, like just tearing him to shreds. Mike Davis, former teammate, ripping Eric DeCosta. There's something going on here. And how, like, what does that tell your football team when you go out and you acquire Roquan Smith and you sign him, who just joined the roster before you sign Lamar Jackson, who is an MVP level quarterback? He won an MVP. I think, and I don't know if, like, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Alexis, I kind of feel like the league's colluding against Lamar Jackson. Why did we all of a sudden get all of these teams that were like, nope, I'm out. I don't care if he's an MVP. I don't care that he's dynamic. I don't care that he's one of the most explosive players in the NFL. I'm not interested. Washington came out. Atlanta came out. Where are all these reports? We don't see that about anybody. Why are we
Well,
seeing this about Lamar?
I do. Okay, so I have a few thoughts on this. One, I will say this is just a tactic that I think a lot of NFL teams use to not show their hand.
They do.
Anytime a
Yeah.
team comes out and says, I'm not interested in acquiring X player, I automatically assume that they are, right? And you never really know. Like, the truth is, we're never really going to know. If the Falcons aren't communicating with Baltimore right now, are they? Probably not going to know until just before something happens. So I'm not sure that I buy all those reports. Secondly, my interpretation and like what my assumption is I think ever since the Deshaun Watson contract, teams are not super psyched to do the guaranteed money. That's the way that I'm taking it. Teams do not want to give a lot of guaranteed money. And Lamar has kind of made it known. And again, this is what the reports are. Lamar hasn't said otherwise, to my knowledge, is like he's asking for a lot of guaranteed money. Now, do I think Lamar is worth it? Probably. But as an NFL organization, like if it's me and I'm a GM, I'm scared to offer that. And not just for, any reason, injuries, things going sour with the team, a player wanting out. It just gets really complicated. So that's what I think is going on. But I also don't buy the reports that all these teams are just like, oh, we're not even going to discuss Lamar Jackson. I think it's not real. But I don't know. I don't know, think I would say collusion. But
I think it's possible because of what he's trying to do. Because he's trying to make it so, like, his type of player is getting fully guaranteed. He's trying to make that the norm. And so if owners are like, no, this is going to kill our game, then yeah, I mean, I could see them colluding against Lamar Jackson. And that's probably why we were getting all of those all at once. But to your point, that might not even be like real, right? That might just be hearsay and whatnot. And it might just be false reporting. I don't know. There were a lot of different teams that came out about it. It was really odd. Something weird is going on with the whole Lamar Jackson thing. Now, I will play devil's advocate here, Alexis, and I'll say this. You know, I love Lamar Jackson. He's one of my favorite players in the league. But Lamar Jackson, even as like a fantasy football owner of his in a dynasty league that you and I are in,
mhm.
I've considered getting rid of him because he isn't always healthy. Like he gets off to these great starts, he's got these dominant games, but it's every year now he's dealing with something injury wise.
And
So
that could be where the guaranteed money makes people afraid, right? Because that, like I said, I think teams in general are very hesitant to do that because there's a lot of reasons why that could not work out. Um,
yeah,
and I think especially with Lamar's injury history, it makes it even less appealing. But I will say there are so many quarterbacks right now, getting paid, um, who I think are better than or aren't better than Lamar, right?
I
Lamar is
know.
better than, I mean, look at Geno Smith. I mean, and I like Geno Smith. Okay, this isn't shade to Geno Smith, and he's obviously, he didn't get as big of a contract as Lamar is asking for, but I'm just using this as an example of teams willing to invest in their quarterback. Um, I think Lamar is certainly worth it. I don't know off the top of my head the exact number the reports are saying that he wants, but man, I mean, Deshaun Watson got it. I don't see any reason why Lamar shouldn't if Deshaun got that contract. But
Oh God.
again, look at how that turned out with the guaranteed
Yeah.
money, and I get that situation was also just like a lot different. So I don't want
Kirk
to like compare
Cousins.
them.
No one ever talks about him. He was the one that get
Right.
the fully guaranteed, the first fully guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken, for the quarterback position, $30 million a year. And I mean, I kind of had this realization this past year with Kirk Cousins, Alexis.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to get you over the hump. He finally had the offensive minded coach in KOC, and we saw Justin Jefferson was like a lightning rod. Like he exploded the way we expected under KOC, but Cousins just didn't move the needle. That team should have probably been in the NFC title game, probably competing for a Super Bowl. You could say, yes, Ed Donatel and his defense weren't very good, and they are fixing that this year, with Flores, but how is Cousins ever going to win a ring at this point? And another thing I'll say, he's 6 months younger than Matthew Stafford, and people act like he's still like 28 years old. I mean, like, the time is now. If this guy isn't going to win one, like, I don't know what to say. And he's like, the reason I brought him up is the fully guaranteed contract. But you get my point, is like, these fully guaranteed contracts really haven't worked. They haven't. So, I mean, to their point, I kind of understand it with Lamar, but it does kind of just, it gives me some like collusion vibes. That's basically what I was getting.